I feel like there's always a conversation every single year as to who deserves to be included within the SoundCloud Mount Rushmore. And I actually think that all of the lists that every single publication and media organization creates is wrong, because just because a lot of artists come from this so-called SoundCloud generation doesn't necessarily mean that they actually use SoundCloud or that is how they blew up, and therefore they do not deserve to be on SoundCloud's Mount Rushmore. Now, if you want to put them on something where they get an accolade for being one of the biggest artists within this generation, which doesn't necessarily equate to using SoundCloud, then sure, like, I get it. And that's nothing against these rappers. It's just, how are you going to claim something, or how is your fan base going to claim something like a country that you're from when you're not even actually from that country? But anyway, let's hop into this list. So typically there are a couple different pictures that circulate around, but mostly it includes rappers such as like Lil Uzi Vert, Juice WRLD, Ski Mask Slump God, XXXTentacion, as well as Trippie Redd. And within the comments, I see it all the time. They want Playboy Cardi being on there. And as much as I love Cardi and I put on for him, I really just don't know. But out of this list, let's first talk about why I don't believe some of them deserve to be on it. So Juice WRLD, as much as he did again emerge within this generation of SoundCloud rappers, and if you look back, he did have that SoundCloud rapper kind of aesthetic in a way, although didn't have too many face tats, if any. I can't remember. The colored hair, emo rap. However, he really wouldn't make sense, even though he did drop some SoundCloud exclusives after he blew up. But we all know his first big single, and when he got pretty much all of his clout, was from the first Lyrical Lemonade music video. Whether that was Lucid Dreams or All Girls Are the Same, it was kind of within the same 2-3 month span, but essentially that would make him just like a regular rapper. Now, Ski Mask Slump God, have nothing against him. I think he makes good music. However, he was kind of like the sidekick for XXXTentacion, and therefore when we're putting together a list of say 4 artists, it's almost like when XXL picks their freshman class. You don't want to put 2 rappers from within the same group because that represents the same thing. So nothing against him, but I feel like he's already included through X. And lastly, I'm gonna get slaughtered for this, but Playboy Cardi, yes, I do think that he again fits this SoundCloud rapper aesthetic generation. He was in the 2017 XXL freshman class with X and other rappers who were SoundCloud rappers. However, when you look back, and maybe he's taken down a lot of the songs, but in all reality, currently he only has 15 tracks uploaded to SoundCloud exclusively, and even his breakout tape, self-titled, you can't even listen to it without SoundCloud Pro. So I really don't think that he blew up necessarily from SoundCloud, other than the song Broke Boy, which Ian Connor heavily put on, co-signed to make Cardi who he is today, along with A$AP Rocky and being signed to his label. Now, don't get me wrong, Cardi definitely got a lot of plays on SoundCloud, but I just don't know if uploading 15 tracks or so is really deserving of being on the SoundCloud Mount Rushmore, especially when you're supposed to be the rapper that represents the platform as a whole. Like, there are artists that we're gonna talk about and that are already on the list that really laid the foundation, uploading hundreds of tracks for their fans, which is the whole, I guess, prerogative of the platform. And so in that way, he kind of fits in the same category as Juice WRLD, where he blew up from something else rather than just SoundCloud. Although Ian Connor and A$AP Rocky probably discovered him from SoundCloud, and all of the affiliations and cosigns he got from V-Lone and Og as a whole, he just doesn't have enough songs. Now, if we're to consider him like the god of a category, it would be of leaks and snippets. But personally, I just can't justify putting him on a list of other rappers who have hundreds to thousands of songs on SoundCloud prior, that was their sole platform of blowing up because of the music. Cardi had good music, but he just made the right business moves without having to record or actually release much music at all. Hopefully that alleviates me from Cardi fans coming out and leaking like my divorce papers from my last 2 wives and whatnot. But now let's get into my list, and it's definitely gonna be some hot takes in here, although I think it's justified whether or not we actually believe their music to be good still. And so 1, I think nobody can deny that Lil Uzi Vert deserves a spot on the SoundCloud Mount Rushmore. He had so many exclusives on there to this day. Some of my favorite songs like Finessing Hearts way back in 2016, even further, even while he was signed to a label back in 2015. And then of course, EXO Tour Life blew up on SoundCloud with Love is Rage 1.5 before 2. And because it gained so much traction on the native platform of SoundCloud organically, then they created a music video. It became the single for Love is Rage 2, and then the rest is history. The next one is Trippie Redd, and I don't know why so many people hate on him nowadays. Maybe it's because he gave out too many cosigns. Maybe they just don't like his music anymore. I do think it has downgraded a bit since his beginnings because he lost his personality in his vocals, but you can't deny it literally is facts that he and X have the #1 rap song at this point, because BTS passed them technically speaking. But for the longest time, they had the #1 song on SoundCloud with Fuck Love. And so of course, if you have the #1 song on the platform, you rightfully deserve a spot on the Mount Rushmore. I don't care what anybody says, not to mention all the previous tapes and songs that he has on the platform as well. It's really where he came up, and with songs like Bust Down and others he released on the platform exclusively first before they were launched on all DSPs, similar to the EXO Tour Life situation like Uzi. Thirdly, XXXTentacion. Now, as we spoke about with Trippie Redd, he used to have the #1 song on the entire platform, but prior to that, he would literally only drop his songs on SoundCloud, including just like little snippets that he made before he actually finished songs, in addition to other songs that blew up again on this platform, not on Lyrical Lemonade music videos or on Spotify, and the song just happened to be on SoundCloud, like Look at Me and then Sippin' Tea in Your Hood. He's just an easy contender for a Mount Rushmore because he was the one that was using it the most, all independently and organically, before he signed a deal and then started moving his music onto other platforms so we can actually monetize from it. Now this one's gonna be a hot take, and we only got one more spot. However, I'm gonna list 3 others and some honorable mentions because I think that they all deserve some spotlight. So we got Lil Pump. Yes, I know. As much as I hate to say it, Lil Pump at one point was literally the face of SoundCloud, but he had the face tats, he had the ignorant lyrics, he had the colored dreads, and the extremely dumbed down music that was perfect for SoundCloud and the younger generation that was listening to that. And once again, Gucci Gang blew up on SoundCloud before actually distributing to all the major DSPs, in addition to D-Rose and all the other countless hits that he had back in the day. And so while we may not actually be listening to his music anymore, he did put on for SoundCloud more than most. So many rappers probably started uploading to SoundCloud because of him, realizing that the barrier to entry was so low that they're like, damn, I could probably become a rapper too. Next, we got Lil Peep, who was once again uploading a ton of songs on SoundCloud exclusively before they landed on all other platforms. He was in a different kind of subgenre of alternative rock rap, so he was in a space of his own. And while he may not have gotten as large as the artists that we discussed earlier, he definitely started his own movement, like the goth boy clique or whatever it is. I don't really know too much about their whole movement, but definitely deserves some sort of spotlight on this Mount Rushmore. I don't even know why they put 4 presidents on a mountain. Why not pull all of them, or like, I don't know, craft a couple more that deserve it? And then lastly, for like the main rappers that should be on Mount Rushmore, is Lil Yachty for his Summer Songs and Summer Songs 2 albums or mixtapes that were again exclusively on SoundCloud, and a lot of those songs blew up. And again, he was one of the faces of SoundCloud as well, especially with the red braids. And when people look back at mumble rap or SoundCloud rap, they always go back to some of his songs because he did have some of the largest ones, and he was one of the rappers that went most commercial with it, like his Sprite sponsorship, endorsement, collab, whatever it was. And lastly, honorable mentions. So before all of these rappers were known,
SoundCloud did exist.
I know, it was the dark ages. We were still sharpening swords, sacrificing goats, and doing all sorts of spiritual witchcraft. And I believe these rappers are actually the main influences that the previous artists that we already discussed actually started uploading on the platform, realizing that it was a free place to grow organically. And that would be Uno the Activist and 1000 Man Fani, who were in Splur Gang with Playboi Carti, although I definitely think that they utilized SoundCloud and uploaded more music on the platform more than Cardi. They just happen to never sign major deals, and that's why at this point they're not as large as he is today. But Uno and potentially Fawny, I'm not sure as much because he kind of lays low, but Uno still uploads exclusive tapes on SoundCloud to this day. I think he did one like a couple weeks ago. So again, proving my thesis that to actually make it on the Mount Rushmore, you have to actually be uploading on the platform. And then the other two collabed a lot back in the day, Lucky and Warhol.ss, who in addition to the two other honorable mentions were the only rappers that were really popping on the platform back before 2015 when I started to dabble in that space. Not too much, but because they were the forefathers and actually showing people that you can upload on this platform and just flooding the feed. The reason that they actually grew a following and gained traction with their music was just because they were uploading to the platform, which I cannot say for most, and that is why I'm very proud that Lucky at this point in time is at his peak popularity, whereas a lot of the other SoundCloud rappers have kind of fallen off since then. Just staying consistent and growing slowly. That's the best way to do it, if you ask me. But so there you have it, the real SoundCloud Mount Rushmore. Again, I don't know why other media organizations put like Juice WRLD and other rappers who really did not upload on SoundCloud. They blew up from YouTube or cosigns or signing to labels. These are the artists that actually put on for SoundCloud. But y'all let me know in the comments what you think. List out who you think should be on the Mount Rushmore. I know I gave like 6 names plus honorable mentions, but I don't think we should be limited to 4, to be honest, because they all inspired like different lanes within music. Perhaps Uzi, Trippy, and Yachty could represent the same faction, I guess. But with that being said, it's been your boy Bobbalam signing off. On my way to the Mount Rushmore to etch in my own little faces for SoundCloud rappers instead of just presidents. I'm gonna do it like within someone's nostril. I'll probably get swatted if that happens, actually. Of course, make sure to like and subscribe on the Bob Gang if you with it. Peace out, Cloud people. Nice seeing you.